Hey, you up? It's time for some coffee. Hot, bold, and full of flavor. Tonya McKenzie and Gia Sneed are my morning coffee.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of My Morning Coffee, where we have Gia and we also have our guests. Usually we bring them on a little later, but we kind of on time constraints today. But I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to learn a little bit about Ms. Laura Emdee and hear a little bit about why she decided to be a city council person in Redondo Beach. She's done it twice. She had 2 terms consecutively. That means she won her elections. Like, let's keep that in mind because not everybody wins their election. And later on, we're going to get to Miss Gia because she is retired now. We talked about this at our last episode, but Laura has about 10 more days left, and we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to hear some of her stories from council, what it was like serving with all men. We always elevate and support women here on this platform, and we want an opportunity to support her and celebrate her because she has worked incredibly hard. She has really shown what women in leadership looks like, right? There's a level of dignity and independence that comes with that, independent thought. You can't think like them. You have to think better than them. You have to think bigger than them. So we're going to get into that. But before I even give the mic to Miss Laura, I have someone that might have something to say to her. So without further ado, let's bring on Miss Vicky. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you
So,
for being here. Listen, I want you to talk to Laura about what it was for you to, one, be her friend, two, watch her through this journey, and then let the rest of the listeners know kind of what we're losing out on.
well, I don't know if I can approach all of those things. Um, well, first of all, it's been an honor to be Laura's friend for all these years, and it's been about 15 years that I've known Laura. Um, Laura has attributes that are um, stupendous, I think. She's honest, caring, kind, respectful, fair, and very funny. She's always thinking about others. Um,
Found that out today.
how
Inside,
was that?
inside.
She she's always there for her friends. I do have to say that, and I think her community as well. There was a time, I guess it was about 4 or 5 years ago, that I went to the ER. It wasn't horrible, but I needed to be picked up, and there was Laura. I didn't know why she was there. But another friend called her and said, "Can you pick her up?" And she was there. She's always there when you need her. Um, as far as I don't know if I can remember all your questions there or all your thoughts, but
What are we going to be missing out on now that Laura is going to be done with the city of Redondo and city council?
I think you're going to be missing out on somebody who understands the city better than anybody else. Um, she wants what's best for the city, don't you, Laura? And it's been hard over these past 8 years, especially. I mean, she was on the school board for 4 years before that, and did a fantastic job. But then took this position as city council member, and it's been tough the past 6 years, especially.
What
And I
was
didn't realize it, but it's been very tough with all of these mm, men who don't treat her well.
what was
Uh,
tough for you as her friend, watching her run and sit in that seat, sit on that dais, and as a woman, like as her friend and as a woman?
well, I think she's very strong. I think she's very patient. I wouldn't have the patience that she has. Um, the city council majority who has treated her horribly all these years, I didn't even realize until past year. Actually, it was until about June. I didn't pay any attention really, and that's not a good friend. But since that time, I have watched her on the dais. How do you say it? Dais. Um, and the patience she has and the refrain. I mean, I'd be up there screaming at these guys. I don't know how she does it.
Girl,
She
you and me.
really truly wants what's best for the city, and we're going to miss you, Laura, tremendously.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you.
Hey, Vicki, thank you for showing up. We actually have some follow-up questions with her, so stick around. And again, thank you for showing up and showing some love to a woman that has loved on all of us.
Thank you, Laura, for everything, especially being a great friend.
So Laura, I want you to talk to us about, one, what made you decide to run? And then two, what did it feel like to be the only woman sitting on the dais? Like, take us there.
Okay. First of all, it's a man-dominated world. Okay, so you can't. I never approached it as if I was going to be the only woman on the dais. I was just going to be another person on the dais. I felt that I had things I could bring to the council. To be honest with you, when I first started, I thought there was a bit of contentiousness on that dais. And I thought, oh, well, they need me, a woman who can, I'm very pragmatic. And I see this guy's side. He's really passionate and I understand where he's coming from. But then I could see the other guy's side, and I said, I'm sure there's a way we can meet in that middle. And I really approached it coming in with that kind of thought that I was going to be able to bring everybody together and to do that. And a couple things happened in which my patience didn't wear out. I just kind of went, you know what, if you're going to play that way, let's go. Right. And so, you just can't. The reason earlier we were talking about how, somebody gets you angry and you get you in a different direction. And that's kind of what happened with me. Yeah. And so there's a couple things I want to correct because people have started paying attention about a year ago. Right. Vicki was right. And let's be clear, my first 2 years on council were heaven. They were wonderful. I had such a good time. I enjoyed the job. Steve Aspel, who's often picked.
And Steve Aspel is?
Oh, Steve Aspel was the former mayor of Redondo Beach. And he's often depicted as a good old boy. But he's not. He might come off that way, but he's not. Mm-hmm. He took me by the hand and said, Andy, why? Aren't you doing blank, 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 blank? And I go, oh, I didn't know I could do that. And he's like, yes, come on. Nobody would put up with this in District 1. Why are you letting District 5 people, put up with this? And so he just gave me so much empowerment and told me. And then he would go and say, when I would put in an email, he would then forward that email to staff and say, this is what you have to do. He would back me up. He would tell staff they have to do this, do it this way. So first 2 years were heaven. And then the next we're okay. But it wasn't until this last year that it truly became horrible.
The first 2 years were heaven, and then it started going downhill. Does that mean that the mayor, Steve, was gone?
The mayor
and somebody new came in, and then things started going downhill?
Yes. Then there was a new mayor, and it became very much an us versus them mentality. Okay. And
who was us and who was them?
Well, it was so it was Bill Brand, Todd Lowenstein, and Nils Narenheim, the three of them. It was very much an us versus them, and they didn't really. On people who supported me, they also felt us versus them. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. And I was with John Grand and Christian Horvath.
Here's my question before you finish that. When you talk about us versus them, what's the divide? Like we're talking about local government. So is it Republican versus Democrat? Is it rich versus poor? Like where's the line with the us versus them?
It really all just centered around one friggin' issue. It was the waterfront. And if you look at a map of Redondo Beach, the waterfront's about the size of a pea, and compared to the rest of the city. And it was all about that waterfront. which I never cared about in the sense, I shouldn't say I never cared about it, but I never was as passionate about it as some of the other people on council. Because to me, Redondo Beach means the cute little part of town that I live in, which has this wonderful neighborhood place to go and eat dinner and have coffee, it used to be a liquor store. My kids, we used to go over there and get candy. I mean, it was a really quaint little town. And that's where my passion lies, is in District 5.
So is the waterfront considered, is that where the money is? You know, they say, where's the money?
I have no idea.
In my job, people say, follow the money.
It's not, because the majority of our finances doesn't come from North Redondo.
That's what I've been told. It actually comes from, where if you want money, get a car dealership in your town. That car dealerships make so much money. Hotels are guaranteed $1 million to $1.5 million every year. The pier does make money, but it could be potentially a lot better and bigger. But again, that was the divide. That's all. I don't even want to spend time on that silly one.
Yeah, let's not talk.
So listen, the first time I met Laura, I really met her and got to see who she was. I had walked into the library in North Redondo Beach to hear what the whole kerfluffle was about the pier and what this divide was all about. I wasn't sure. I had an idea, but I walked in and I just see this little woman with this powerful voice, letting everybody in the room know, because those were her residents, District 4 and District 5, and all her residents, people that depend on her. And she was just letting them know, look, I'm gonna fight for this, but when I'm done fighting for this, however it ends, I'm fighting for North Redondo. This doesn't happen, I'm gonna put all into this, and then, it's all about North Redondo. And you know what? She did. Everything, once things fell apart with the whole pier situation, and she did exactly what she said she was going to do. And that to me is something that is missed in politics. It seems like people have a lot of promises. There's a lot of passion about the community, but at the end of the day, people wind up being about self and self-interest in things that they can tout their win about, even if it's not a win for the whole community. So my thought is leadership matters. How does that work to you? When I say leadership matters, and we're talking about people in leadership positions that get in those positions because they make promises, but by the time they're done, they're all about self. How do we as a community how do we fix that?
Stop listening to people who, there's several key takeaways you can do. Number one, stop listening to people who keep saying, I did this. Anybody uses I. Stop listening to them. Number two, stop listening to anybody who creates fear. So this will fall apart if you don't vote this way. That's fear. Have you ever known anything, maybe, well, one day, but have you ever known anything to fall apart because a vote went one way or another? It doesn't, because staff will then, they're the ones who are truly in charge of the city. It's the city manager. Whatever happens in a ballot box, he will adjust and make sure that the city survives. That's his job. If it doesn't survive, we're going to point at that city manager and we're going to fix it. Every city that's fallen apart has come back because they get new people in there. They figure out how to make it work within the parameters that the ballot box has done. So don't listen to anybody who touts fear, doomsday, or says the word I.
So Laura, you have 10 days left. Okay, so you're leaving. Is it because, are you termed out? Is that why you're leaving? Okay, you're termed out. So that means somebody else had an election and won? Okay, is that person another female that's taking your position, or is that going to be a male?
No, it's going to be a man, and he ran unopposed.
Okay.
And luckily, we're still going to have a woman on council because in District 3, 2 women ran, which is so exciting.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
That's interesting.
And so I'm very thrilled with that. And it's been an interesting watching this man take the role unopposed.
Mhm.
It's been very interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Because when I first got on council, there were all these old people with this big frown on their faces. Now they're my friends, okay, just so we're clear. But they're all a big frown on their faces, and they have this little finger. And what are you going to do about blank? Well, when you first get on, you really don't know what you're doing,
Right.
You're
Right.
just,
Yeah.
And so I said, well, let me find out the answer. And so then I was put to task. I had to know everything frontwards and backwards because nobody gave me quarter. Nobody.
Mhm.
But so then he was at a meeting the other day, and I said, okay, guys, what do you have to ask him?
Nothing.
Nobody said anything.
And they all just looked at me like,
Those
well,
crickets.
I don't know. What do you
Mhm.
want us to ask him? I was just like, I started laughing. I said,
My,
wow.
how things change.
My, how things change.
Yeah.
So then you got to ask yourself, is it because I was a woman?
Yeah.
Or is it, or I'm Pollyanna. I've been told that a lot. Or is it because everyone has felt so comfortable in my leadership and included
Right.
that they assume that anybody else who comes forward will then come do the same?
And do the same. Like you've written the master plan.
Yeah, maybe they don't know.
They don't. Most people don't know how government works. But
Maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting till after you're gone,
Maybe.
and you're not at the meeting. Then they're gonna do
Get
that
out of
thing.
here.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Okay.
So I have someone else that wants to say a little something to Miss Laura. Chris, maybe can I see you? I can't. There you go. Hey,
Oh, he's taking time off work. Wow.
girl, I've been working on this.
There's my partner right there.
I got to walk out of the office. Hi.
We used to, at work when we do that.
Thank you for
we
inviting me.
walk out the office. That means we have to talk about something that
Yeah,
we don't want
can't-
everybody else to nobody
somebody
else
else
to
can
hear.
hear.
So that's kind of funny to me. He's going out
Yes.
the office.
Well, I work for another government agency, and so it would be inappropriate to be in the office doing this. But I haven't seen what you guys have been talking about so far, except for the fact that that there is a guy running unopposed or has run unopposed, and nobody challenged him. And that happened to Laura when she ran. A man challenged her by what do you call that? Not vote by mail, by write-in ballots. So, anyways, I just want to say this: if we're here to talk about Laura Emdee, Laura Emdee and I did not know each other 8 years ago. We met while on the campaign trail. I think she probably looked at me like I was just some naive dippy-doo at our first meeting at Starbucks. And I'll be honest with you, she has become a wonderful friend, a wonderful colleague. And here's the thing, we talk a lot about this in politics or government in general. Laura and I do.
Oh, bummer.
Oh, Christian.
Is have an open and honest conversation about anything that we happen to be Brown acted on, and we find consensus. I would say the vast majority of the time we find consensus, which means each of us gives a little bit, each of us learns a little bit from each other, and then there are times where we will look at each other across the desk and go, what the hell? Because we don't understand where the other person's coming from, or it springs on us. But that's the point of I think being a local or any elected official, right? Is that you are willing to work across this, perceived aisle or these divisions that are created. And Laura and I just have different perspectives on things, but we can actually make it work. And I think that's just been one of the greatest aspects of our relationship, is that I know she actually listens to me, and I hope she knows that I listen to her. Although if I didn't listen to her, she'd probably tear my arms off like the mama bear she is. So anyways, it has been nothing short of a pleasure these past 8 years. She's definitely become my partner in crime, and as we were texting over the weekend, I will miss our Wednesday morning recaps.
Ditto.
Oh.
Yes. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Christian.
Absolutely. You guys have a great one.
You too.
And so what he was saying when it cut out was that we don't agree. We're very opposites in how we believe things should be done. But because of the circumstances, we did have to kind of do a knockout, drag out. No, yes, no. We had a lot of that, but we respected each other, and it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's okay.
So the question would be, since you guys could do that and others can't do that with you, is there a lack of respect that's actually put on display from our city government?
Oh, 100% for our city leaderships. Okay, let's break it down. I don't want to be, because I always try to look at their side, try to look at their side of things and be a little more empathetic, which I know bothers a lot of the people who follow me and who support me. But how do you get a solution unless you understand where the other person's coming from? And I think if I was to be in their shoes, I imagine, I don't know because they never talked to me, so I really don't know, but I'm imagining that they have a lot of pressure from their supporters. Because, and the reason why I say that with a bit of, I believe it's true, is because when somebody has voted my way, later on they tell me how much people have harassed them.
Wow.
Wow.
So it comes from the followers of those people. They don't want them to have any kind of quarter for the other person. And so this is the hope. This is hope, people. This is hope. Now this election means that the two people who are replacing Christian and myself had nothing to do with the waterfront. Absolutely nothing. You can't tie it to them. They're brand new to the scene. They have no history with any of the old school politics.
If the other person that comes in is the one that's unexperienced, that hasn't run before.
Oh.
You just said two people. The two people that
Oh,
come
I'm
in.
presuming she's going to win.
Yes.
How are they going to come back from a 90-point lead? I mean, that'd be weird. But anyway, okay, presuming
those two people win.
that the lead happens the way it is right now, they have nothing tied to anything. And so there'll be no reason for this divide. And so I think what will happen is they will be forced to have conversations with each other.
Or they will be forced to take sides.
Right. And you can't say there will be no reason for a divide, because I think the people that are dividing, that's just who they are. And no matter, I think, who's in that position, they're gonna probably try to keep it divided.
I know you're right.
But, there are people out there like that,
But
and,
I don't want to.
especially in government, that's the thing.
This is Laura trying to be optimistic.
Yeah.
This is me trying to be realistic, in that I think, and I see it often when politicians come in, when they see something that they can get a win on, they will take sides to get favor, to curry favor for those whose side they'll be on, which means they're not really making decisions that's in the best interest of the city or objective decisions. They're making decisions to curry favor with someone that they can get a win for, a personal win, not necessarily a win for the community. That's the hard part for me to digest. When we know something is good or bad, when numbers show what something should be and you vote against it, you can't be doing it in the best interest of the city or the community. You are doing it in the best interest of you, or to call that favor in when it's time. So again, like she said, yeah, they're going to come in with the opportunity to be objective. We get to watch and see if it stays that way. We have one more person for Miss Laura. Mr. Steve Goldstein, how are you?
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Tonya. You guys are doing great, all of you. I'm really enjoying this conversation. Laura, you know how much I love and respect you, and it's going to be such a loss for us. I can only hope that the person taking your place will have half of your integrity and fortitude to stand up to the opposition that you have stood up to over the past, not the entire 8 years, but most of that 8 years has been a real battle. And it's been shocking for us, people like me and Tonya and others who have front row view to this. And it's just shocking what these people get away with, not just what they try to get away with, but they get away with it. And it's just, being opposed to each other is one thing. And you said earlier, you try to find middle ground. You have to work together. And that's our problem nationally too. People aren't working together. They're just putting a line in the sand, and they don't cross that line no matter what. And as a result, the city has suffered. The city has, not moved forward in the way it could have in the last 12 years, let's say, that I've had a front row seat to see what's going on, and to be sometimes the person being thrown under the bus. And Tonya's experienced that too. Where we just have enemies we never knew existed, and people whose names we didn't even know, living here for over 30 years, and suddenly, well, who's that person? Why have I never heard of that person? I've been active. I've been on a million committees and active in volunteer organizations, and why do I not know this person until this person started declaring that, war on me and war on my friends? And it's unbelievable. So the point of all this is to say thank you for being the voice of reason and having that calm, that fortitude to just stand your ground and try to get along with the others and try to see what could be done, and not just being unreasonable the way they have been toward you and toward what we call our side, the reasonable side, the normal people versus the just flat out, I don't know what. I don't even know what to call it. It's been interesting just to experience it. And I could never have done it. I've been asked a few times to consider running for city council, and I couldn't bear it. I couldn't put up with half of any of what you've had to put up with just to be here and just to be leaving in a peaceful transition instead of being thrown out like they've tried to do so many others.
I'm with you, Steve. I don't see it.
I appreciate you, and I know you're going to still be around, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do next because we need you. And I'm not in District 5. I'm in District 4. I'm just adjacent to you, and it's been a pleasure. And I only hope that the people coming in will have learned a little something from you, and Christian and John.
Thank you so much. Very kind words. Very kind.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Tonya. Thank you, everybody. You're doing a great job.
Laura, before you go, I've heard a few people refer to you, and I hope I'm hearing right. Emdee?
Yes.
Okay. Emdee. And so
just like the letters
MD. Yeah. So me, I'm like, okay, Emdee. So I'm thinking, because Tonya will have people on the show and she tells me like just a little bit about the person, she'll tell me everything. So I kept hearing like Emdee. So I'm thinking, well, hell, shit. Is Laura a fucking doctor? Medical doctor? That's what I'm thinking,
No, she was really thinking that.
Yeah, really thinking that.
No.
MD, I'm like, well, shit, is she a medical doctor? And Tonya just left that little bit of piece out. So what's the MD for? Tell me about the MD.
Well, it's my husband's last name, and they think it was from a town in Germany called Emder, and then when they came over, they just got it all screwed up, at Ellis Island or wherever they came from. I have no idea.
Okay.
And so then, it's funny you said that because I was running unopposed, and somebody called me one day, panicked. There's somebody running against you. It's a doctor. And I started laughing. I go, you mean Laura Emdee? Yes, I think that's her.
She's like, that's me. Actually, that's me.
Stupid. No, it's not. People, right? Exactly. I'm like, okay. It really works well when you call a doctor's office. Hi, I'm Laura Emdee. I'd like to know my results. Oh, hold on. And suddenly you get this great.
I would say now you retire from the city council. I would use that MD.
You're bringing the MD with us.
Yes.
We got the MD on our side.
Right. Yeah, So,
I know you got to go, but I do want you to, as you leave,
Wait, she's saying something.
As you leave, tell us about what are you doing after this? You've done all this great stuff here in Redondo Beach. What's next for you?
Well, first I'm going to take a rest. I'm going to unplug from everything for a while, but I'd love to do something project-based. Back in the day, I used to be a stage manager. And one of the things I loved about being a stage manager was that I could go into a project, put my whole heart and head into it, and then it's over. And I love that because I just want to be able to do 1,000% in whatever I'm doing. And so I would love to go figure out if I could help the Olympics or World Cup. The World Cup's coming to, and so I want to try to get into that team. But I haven't tried. But you can have a dream. It's not going to come true unless you actually work towards it. But in a few weeks, I'll work towards that.
I'm disappointed, Laura.
What?
Because I thought you at least were going to say you were going to
Run for mayor or something.
No, like have a drink or like have a bottle?
Well, that's what the quiet unplugged
Well,
time is. Yeah.
So are we drinking, Laura?
Obviously,
I didn't know.
obviously
are we
you
drinking?
don't know me.
Okay.
Because yes, I could tell.
Okay. No, are we drinking?
Okay, you're throwing them back. I'm throwing them back.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm always drinking.
Okay.
So except for in the morning, I try to stay until the afternoon. And then when you're on vacation, you have to start in the morning. Otherwise, how can you drink all day unless you start in the morning, right?
That part.
So no, I'm
We're drinking.
no, we're just drinking.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
just drinking.
Okay. Well,
There just won't be any. I won't be plugged in any way.
right.
Yeah. And so
So
it'll be
we
good.
might have to have a drink then.
Oh yeah. Anytime. Anybody out there
Yeah,
wants to
look,
just
Drink with us?
I'm drinking. I'm going to be drinking.
Let's go drink.
All right, guys. Well, we want to thank Ms. Laura Emdee for stopping by today. We want to thank her for her time, and more than anything, we thank her for her service.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
Ms. Laura.
you.
We'll be right back.
Hey, you up? It's time for some coffee. Hot, bold, and full of flavor. Tonya McKenzie and Gia Sneed are my morning coffee. Psst, hey, you up? It's time for some coffee. Hot, bold, and full of flavor. Tonya McKenzie and Gia Sneed are my morning coffee.
All right, guys, we're back. And we had the opportunity to celebrate Miss Laura Emdee. And now we get to celebrate Miss Gia. Before we get started, though, on her little celebration, I do want her to talk about her experience in a little more in depth than she has, because, you know, she'd be doing it kind of in passing, about serving in a male-dominated industry. She was an LA County Sheriff, a lieutenant. So she got a little power, a little position, and it is male-dominated. And she not only survived, but thrived and brought everything that she did there to Zeta and everything else that she does. Quite an incredible woman and an incredible career. So before we let the people in, talk about it. And how do you feel about being done?
Well, I'm excited to be done. It's been, I didn't realize, 30 years is a long time, 30 plus years is a long time. And when you're doing it, it seems like a long time. Like, oh, am I ever going to get to retire? And now that retirement is here, it's like, wow, 30 years. Sometimes I sit back and say, wow, I've done something for 30 years. I got up every day, put on a uniform, and went to work for 30 years at the same place for the same employer.
I don't even know if we got 30 friends.
Yeah,
but
that in and of itself is, sometimes I sit back and go, wow, but I've done it, and a lot of other people have done it, and people after me are going to do it. I've had a great career. I'm not gonna say that I didn't. The sheriff's department, has been good to me. I will say, when I look back, I had fun. And sometimes I didn't. It was fun, and then some days it wasn't fun. But like Tonya said, it is a male-dominant profession, and even though there are a lot of women in the profession, it's still dominated by men. Men are still really running the show, even though you might see women in powerful positions, in leadership positions, in ranking positions. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of men. There's more men in those positions than there are women, and men are really still running the show. I will say. Other than that, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. I survived, as they say. Now the goal is to still be here long after, because if you know anything about law enforcement career, the life expectancy is not very long. So my goal is to try to live as long as I can and be healthy. So part of my retirement is going to be about getting healthy. Healthier. Don't get me wrong, I fell off the wagon. There's things I could do better, and I will do better. That's one of the goals in retirement, is to do better. But also, it's really to just really enjoy life, because as a civil servant, you It's a lot of things that you don't do, or you can't do when you're a civil servant that you would like to do,
like eat edibles. So listen,
we
got somebody for you.
So yeah, so
Miss Kamisha.
Hello, love. How are you?
Hey, Kamisha. Y'all, this is my little, y'all go, Tonya, don't be having me on this show crying now, girl. Hey, Misha.
Hi, I just wanted to make sure I stopped by to say congratulations on your accomplishment. I mean, I don't think you know, but you are my shero. From the first day I met you, the love that you gave me, the nurturing, the mentoring, and even the sisterhood. So I'm so happy to see that you made this milestone, and I'm looking forward to the great things that you're going to have forthcoming from here on out. So congratulations.
Oh, and thank you. And I'm coming to OKC. So now that I'm retired, I can just
I'm ready.
Get up and go whenever I want to. So I'm gonna be there. I'm coming.
I'm ready. I cut some strings too, so I'm ready for you.
Okay, cool. I miss you.
Miss you too as well. Love you so much.
So where are you? Where are you located?
I am located in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Okay, and how do you know Miss Gia?
Oh, we met. We're both sorority sisters, so we're members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. But we met through our husbands.
I want to hear you say that, right?
Yeah. I'll say it again to the rafters. But anyway, we met through our husbands, and since then, it's just been a wonderful, wonderful relationship. She's family. Her and her husband are family to us, so we love them so much.
We love you too. Thank you for being here and taking the time. I know you've been waiting backstage for a minute, but definitely appreciate you showing up.
And Kamisha, y'all got me because I was looking at the screen,
she's crying,
and I kept seeing Kamisha people. I didn't know. I was like, I said, Laura, my name Kamisha. I put it Kamisha. I didn't know Kamisha was here for me. So
yes. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I took time out of my day because this was important to me. So you're important.
You know how much I love you. You are truly, she's truly one of my little sisters. Really, really, really.
Yes.
And she's an inspiration to me too. So
thank you, Kamisha.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
You crying?
Y'all got me all emotional and stuff.
We did it, Jeff.
How you gonna get me on my podcast? Look, got me. I ain't got no tissue, nothing. Look. Tears coming down and stuff. Got me all emotional. Look, can't be having this. Look.
Well, let's just keep the party going.
I got my glasses on.
Joshua.
Now, how is my wife gonna be on before? I guess beauty before. I don't know what they say, but it's good that she was there before me.
Zeta Mu Sigma, bro.
There you go. It's all good. Hey, I'm coming to you all live from Langston, Oklahoma. Of course, my lovely wife Kamisha was right before me. Of course, I live in Oklahoma City, but I work at Langston University, and so just wanted to stop by as well. Got an invitation and wanted to celebrate the sheriff. That's what we call her. We call her the sheriff. For her service, her lifelong service to the community. Just let her know that we love her.
What is one of the funniest stories you have about
you? Is it some kids?
Uh-oh.
Listen, what we know with Miss G is she's always packing. So if something jump off, we know that we covered, you know what I'm saying? Not only by the blood, but by, peace be still, right? And we know that Miss Gia has a peace
good to
as
know.
well. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, Josh, thank you.
I appreciate you being here, showing Miss Gia some love. This is just a little sample of what we got planned for her as we celebrate her retirement. Josh, thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Love you, Miss Gia. Take care.
Love you.
You over here crying? And
Jesus.
I didn't even know Gia had tear ducts. Okay.
See, you're wrong.
All these years.
I'm gonna get her for this.
I didn't know she had tear ducts.
I'm gonna get her for this. See, she wrong. And I know somebody was in on this with her. Their initials is JS.
As long as it ain't BS, we all
so
right.
I'm going. Yeah, it's on and cracking people.
See, what happened was she has revealed her weakness, so it can be owned as much as she wants to, because now we know how to turn it all the way off.
This is wrong. They don't even play fair, but that's all right. I got something for both of them.
Oh wait, I got something else for you. What's up, Miss Jordan?
Hey sis, how you doing?
Hey sis,
Just
y'all so wrong. Dorian, I don't know why you let them get you caught up in this.
Hey, I just want to say congratulations. You're my hero. You mean so much to me. And the journey that you've been down, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you, sis. Brings tears to me. But I just wanted to jump on and say, hey, congratulations. I'm coming all the way from the ATL. So I'll be glad to see you when you get back. I miss you. But it's time to get ready to enjoy that retirement. And thank you, Tonya. How you doing today?
Missing you too.
Missing you too. So much love to you, sis.
I heard that you guys had a really good time at the Trap Museum.
Man, she just got a chance to post it. The Trap Museum is the Trap Museum.
The trap house. It's truly a trap house.
Yes, it is. Definitely.
Yeah, we had a good time. We really did fun. Yeah.
We definitely did.
So more days like that during retirement?
Yeah, more days like that.
Thank you, Miss Jorian, for being here.
So if you guys don't know, Jorian is my older sister, and Jeff hates it, but she refers to me as her baby sister. So I say, I'm her baby sister.
Yeah, everybody thinks she's my big sister, though.
You're badass.
I love her to death, and thank you so much. Thank you for the service that you've given and you provided.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon. I'll be glad to see you when you get to the ATL, Tonya.
Coming.
Hey.
We're gonna hold her to it, Jorian, too.
That's right. We hold you to it.
All right. So
you know what? I shouldn't even just stop talking on the podcast. I should just shut it down, because this right here, y'all, this was wrong. All the way wrong. But it's okay. We're here.
So I do want, before we get out of here, we had the opportunity to interview what would be your new boss. Actually, he was for like 5 minutes, Sheriff Luna. And I want you to kind of give your impressions of him, how you think the Sheriff's Department is going to do without you. Laura spoke about what the city was going to be like without her. I want you to talk about what you think things are going to be like.
Well, I played a small piece in the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department is going to continue and go on for once I'm gone, and once a lot of people are gone, because it is what it is. As far as the new sheriff, when we interviewed him, I was really I was impressed by him. What I was impressed by, he seemed very passionate and genuine about what he wants to do for the community, for the county of Los Angeles, and for the department. He seemed very genuine in his in the things that he talked about, and just his person. I mean, sometimes when you can be around people, you can just judge people just being in their presence. Yeah. He seemed like he was all around good guy. And I hope that my impression of him is not wrong, but we'll see. Like you said, he was only my boss for a minute, but he will be on all my retirement paperwork. So, hey, I get to say, I work for Sheriff Luna, and stuff. So,
what was your most memorable, most impactful moment working for the department?
Impactful moment.
Something that changed your life, or changed maybe even your perspective about something.
I would say actually in my career, when you hire on the Sheriff's Department, you go to the jail first before you go to other places. And I worked in the jail for probably 5 years before I went out and worked at court services. And I think my transition from the jail to court service was very memorable, because during that time, I was really on the verge of really wanting to leave the department, because the jail, to me, kind of hardened me, made me a harder person. So once I transitioned to court services and working in a court, I was working around, different people, and the environment was just different. Yeah. And it really renewed my, my passion for being in law enforcement, being able to interact with, because then I got to work with judges, attorneys, and I dealt more with the public.
Got it.
You work in the jail, you're not dealing with the public the way you do there. So I think I really thank God for me being able to go to courts, because I think if I didn't, I'd probably be a little different. I would be a different law enforcement.
What units all did you work for your time there?
When I started, first, you go to the academy, you go to court, you go to the jail, work the jail. I worked court services as a deputy. Then I became a bonus in court services. Then I left court services and I went to patrol. And then from patrol, I went and worked OSS, which is the gang enforcement team. I did that for a while. And then when we took over the city of Compton, I transferred and went and worked at Compton, the Compton station. I was a watch deputy there. Then I became a detective at Compton, and then I left Compton. I went to work narcotics, did narcotics for some time. Then I left narcotics, and then I was promoted to a sergeant. Then I went to patrol as a sergeant at Lenox Station, and then from sergeant in patrol, I left there, and while I was at Lenox, I was a detective sergeant. Then I left there, and I went to custody for an administrative position. I became a scheduling sergeant at Twin Towers. Then I was an operations sergeant, and then I got a call to become a chief's aide for a custody division. So I was a chief's aide, which is still an administrative position as a sergeant. Then I left there, went back to court services, and I was a unit commander at a small court, which unit commander means I was the highest ranking person at the court. So I ran the court, the small court in downtown LA, CJAC court. Then I left there and got promoted to lieutenant. And then I went to CRDF as a lieutenant. And then from CRDF, I went to a unit called Access to Care Bureau, which deals with the mental health and medical care of the inmate population. So, and I'm ending my career as a lieutenant out of Access to Care Bureau. So that's it in a nutshell, So.
What is the scariest moment in your career?
The scariest moment in my career? Oh, shit. Actually, the scariest moment in my career, I would probably say when I worked narcotics and when we would have to do service of search warrants. Mm-hmm. That was probably the scariest time in my career, because you don't really know what's behind the doors when you're going into people's houses and stuff. So I would say that was probably the scariest time.
What do you want people to know about law enforcement as you leave this industry and you move back into your creative space and your fun space? The law enforcement industry still struggles to establish trust and transparency with the public, but there's some things that maybe that the public does not know. Tell them.
Well, just to know that people that are in a uniform are human, just like they are, and the job that they're doing is a difficult job because they're managing a lot of stuff and they're managing a lot of people at one time, and also to get to know your law enforcement in your community. I would say that if anything else, get out, get to know them, strike up a conversation with them. They do talk, they're not as standoffish or mean as a lot of people think they are. And sometimes they want people to talk to them, because, driving around the car for 8 to 10 hours a day, going to calls, handling calls, making contact with people and stuff. And sometimes the people are not good people. It's not a piece of cake. It's not, it's not fun, so sometimes, they want to have some human interaction with, with some civilized people. And just know that, these people in uniform, they're trying to do the job with to their best of their abilities. Sometimes, most of the time we get it right, but there's times when we don't get it right. And when we don't get it right, don't take it out on every person in the uniform, because every person in the uniform that person is not getting it right, if that makes sense. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for allowing me to make you cry today with the assistance of your husband. And thank you for, continuing this journey.
I might not be able to get over it. I might have to go to therapy. Sarita.
Thank you.
Sarita.
Thank you.
I might need therapy. Okay. If you see this show and you see what our girl did to me, I think I might need therapy after this. Okay. Because, I don't know. Yeah. They got over on me.
We did. So listen, guys, thank you for being here today. Thank you for helping us celebrate Miss Laura Emdee.
Yes.
MD.
Yeah.
Got
I want to hang out with Miss Laura Emdee because I can imagine I could see she was a
She's
ball of
fun.
fire. I could just tell she was,
She
was putting it down on the council.
She tried.
Yeah.
She really did. But I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to is we try.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all we can do. Is all
Try.
anybody can do is try, and we just get up every day and you try.
Yeah. So thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
That's right over.